Hello, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. So, today we're going to be talking about something. It's not necessarily linked to politics, although it might be somehow. We're going to be focusing on Zambia today, and I'll show you here what we'll be talking about is the Kafue River. Okay, so you can see here in Wikipedia, is 1,576 kilometers long and is the longest river lying wholly within Zambia. Okay, there's quite a lot of pictures here of how the river looked before. Okay, you have quite a lot of wildlife drinking water from the river stream, and it looks quite beautiful though. Yeah, as you can see here, but something has happened. A major disaster took place here, which is what I'm gonna be talking today about. All right. So let's start here. So for those of you who don't know, here's the Congo, the country that I'm always talking about, and here's Zambia, okay, which is right below the Congo, bordering Congo, Angola, Malawi, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and a little bit of Botswana and Namibia. So you can see it's a big country though, okay, and I'll show you here the Mwambasi stream, which is where the disaster took place within the country. This is the country. Okay. Okay. So what we have here is a river that completely died. Not the whole river. Okay. It's just certain sections of it. But this has to do quite a lot with the lack of strong regulations and also of enforcement in many African countries when it comes to the mining industry. The picture you can see here is pretty much what is left from one of the river streams. It says this is from the 19th of February 2025. It shows a bridge at a tailing dam at a Sino Metal Lake Zambia mine near Kitue. Okay, so as I said before, a major environmental disaster has happened in Zambia when a waste of a storage dam at the Sino Metal Lake Zambia, which is Zambian Chinese company, okay, that they specialize on the mining of copper. Okay, so there was a failure in the plant, and it led to a leak into a river, which is extremely important for Zambia and other countries as well. So this has caused around 50 million liters of highly acidic liquid to spill into the Mwambasi stream, which is the one I'm showing you here before. Okay, where is it? There you go. Okay, we're talking about quite a lot of waste that went into the river. Okay, so this is one of Zambia's most important water sources today. So the pollution led to serious damage to the environment, harming wildlife and also agriculture, which inadvertently also have an effect on the local communities. To show you the pictures before, there's quite a lot of wildlife that depend on that river. There is fish and other animals that completely die. Okay, so let's talk about the importance of this river and the regional impact. So this Kafue River, okay, I'll show you now the Kafue River here. Okay, I'll show you the pictures. There you go. So you can see. So the Kafue River is one of Zambia's most important vital water source, which supplies drinking water for irrigation, for agriculture as well, and also they generate hydroelectric power for the country, so electricity basically. So it supports quite a lot of industries and fisheries and also local economies, making it really important for both urban and also the rural population in the country. Okay, so the river itself is a major tributary of the Zambezi River, okay, which flows across multiple southern African countries. As I saw you in the map before. And this includes Zimbabwe, includes Mozambique, and also includes Angola. So you can see here, okay. You got Angola here, you got Namibia, you got Zimbabwe, and then you got Mozambique, okay. Look how beautiful it is. Anyways, so as I said before, it was a huge impact on the water and the wildlife. They even have to cut the water, which has affected over 300,000 individuals in a specific city in Zambia. So the spill did contain large amounts of sulfuric acid and heavy metals that are used for the extraction of copper. And this quickly changed the water chemistry, making it extremely toxic to fish and other aquatic life. So there are large numbers of dead fish which were found in the riverbanks. Okay, I'll show you pictures here. For those that don't believe me sometimes. Okay, wait, there you go. Okay, and there's also quite a lot of animals that rely on this river for drinking water who were also affected. So the contamination spread downstream, making it even worse, a worse environmental damage to the country. So the pollution forced the Zambian authorities to shut down the drinking water supply to over 700,000 residents in a city called Kitwe, which is one of the major cities in the country. So farmers who depended on the river for irrigation face quite a lot of losses as well, as this acidic water, it did completely ruin the crops, and definitely is going to have quite long effects in the soil of those farms. And just wait some years, because the quality of this soil is going to deteriorate quite a lot. Okay, so there are also concerns that dangerous chemicals could seep into underground water supplies, creating long-term health risk. Okay, so the government has got involved in this, and the company has also got involved in this. So you have the Zambian government who responded by adding large amounts of lime to the river to reduce acidity and also stabilize the water pH levels. So officials also halted operations completely at Sino Metal Leach Zambia Limited, while there is an investigation going on, obviously, in order to understand what really caused the spill. So the company did take responsibility and promised to help restore the environment to the affected communities and to the affected area as well. So meanwhile, the government launched an inquiry to find out what went wrong and how similar disasters could be prevented in the future. And I'll show you here. These guys. You have here the representatives of the company pretty much apologizing, regretting for what happened, apologizing to the president of the country, okay, and acknowledging that what has happened has affected many communities in the country. Okay, according to them, as you can see, they say it was an accident, and they're trying to reduce the impact, the environmental impact that this has caused. Okay, so let's be clear here. The fact that it's a Chinese company and it's happening in an African country is resounding quite a lot. First of all, because every time a Chinese company does something, they're trying to blame it 100% for it, and they're trying to expose it all over the Western media. Because there's a narrative here where people are actually saying that China is exploiting Africa, okay? Now, these environmental disasters, okay, has happened in many other countries in the world. And the way it has been portrayed has been completely different. They portrayed it as an environmental catastrophe. And although many individuals from companies were prosecuted and in certain cases they went to jail, the governments came together. Let's say in the Gulf of Mexico, when there was a spill there, the governments came together to basically clean it. Something similar happened in Spain, in northern Spain, in something called the Prestige, which was a petrol ship that basically went into flames, and quite a lot of petrol went into the coast, and the population came together to clean it. Obviously, they prosecuted those who were part of that, which is something that I believe the Zambian government should do against this Chinese company, because they didn't take enough precautions to stop this from happening. Okay, they didn't put measures there to stop this from happening. So we understand it was an accident, but at the same time, why did it spill all over the river? Okay, we know that many mining companies, mainly Western mining companies, they're well known for doing exactly this in certain countries, okay, mainly African countries, where they completely pollute the environment by throwing the waste into the river, which has an effect in the local community and the environment as well. So there are regulations in the mining industry. Okay, so the mining industry is subject to a number of environmental rules aimed at preventing pollution and disasters like the one that happened in Zambia. So these rules exist at an international level, also at a national level, and also there is an industry level which is focused on waste management, pollution control, environmental impact assessment, and company responsibility. Okay, so when you look at the global mining standards, which should have been followed in order to avoid this type of accidents, you have the global industry standard on tailing management, which stands for the acronym is GISTM, which was developed by the International Council of Mining and Metals, ICMM, which set guidelines to safer waste storage. Then you have the Equator Principles, which ensure that mining projects over 10 million include environmental and social risk assessments. Then you have the Basel Convention, which regulates the handling and disposal of hazardous waste, including mining and products. Then you have the, I think it's Harvard's Convention, which ensures that local communities have a say in decisions affecting the environment. So if Zambia and this Chinese company follow these regulations, we want to seek a big compensation, a quick restoration, and the support from the company and also the government, okay, to restore the areas that have been affected by this spill. Now, there are many people out there that are actually saying that the main problem is the main reason for this problem is because Zambia doesn't have any regulations in terms of the mining industry. However, there are regulations in the country. Although when it comes to enforce these regulations, the country itself is a bit weak. Okay, so you have the Mines and Minerals Development Act, which was signed in 2008 and amended in 2015, which requires environmental impacts assessment before mining projects start. They also set safety rules for waste storage and tailing dams, and then they make companies responsible for cleaning up pollution, which is exactly what is happening now. So they're following it apparently by the book. Then you have the Environmental Management Act signed in 2011, which gives Zambia, it gives the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, which is ZIMA, enough power to shut down companies that violate pollution laws. And then they also set limits on air, water, and land pollution. Then you have the Water Resources Management Act from 2011, which protects rivers and underground water from mining pollution. And it allows the Water Resource Management Authority, which is WAMA, to fine companies that break the rules. Then you also have the compensation for affected communities, which is mining companies must pay for environmental damage, and local communities can take legal action to seek compensation. So if the country follow all these regulations they have from different bodies, as you can see here, from the EIS, from ZIMA, from WAMA, the company that polluted should be basically responsible for cleaning the whole river stream, basically making sure that it's safe for animals, for individuals to drink this water, and they should also help to the local communities, mainly farmers, okay, to to take legal actions and seek compensation for what happened to them. Okay. Now, there are best practices for preventing future disasters. So, beyond the laws, responsible mining companies follow best practices such as dry stack tailings, which is a safer way to store the waste. Okay, dry stacks, not liquids. Then there's also real-time water monitoring, who detects leaks as soon as possible. And then you have the independent environmental audits that check compliance and they make sure that the companies are complying to the rules, the regulations. However, there are many companies that fail to follow regulations, and often due to weak enforcement, as I told you before. So mining companies, including foreign-owned operations, take advantage of poor monitoring and lack of government resources to avoid the strict compliance. So although many companies have regulations when it comes to the mining industry, enforcing it is another story. And some international companies, obviously, they abuse this. They take advantage of this on the fact that they can carry on their operations because they are an important company in the country. They are helping the economy. Therefore, they are in a privileged position. And they know that the regulation is not, they're enforcing the regulation is not as strict as it could be in other countries. So um, are the regulations working right now in Zambia and at the international level? I'll tell you one thing: when it comes to developing countries or third world countries or countries from a different planet, let's call it like that, okay, these regulations are not really applied. They're not really enforced. And mainly in Africa, South America, and other countries from the global south, many global companies, many international companies, they just do whatever they want to do. Okay, so although there are strong regulations, enforcement remains a major challenge, as I told you before. And the recent disaster in Zambia does highlight the gaps in monitoring, corporate responsibility, and disaster prevention. So I would say to avoid similar incidents in the future, Zambia needs a stricter enforcement, independent oversight, and better emergency response systems. Now we're going to see what the Zambian government is going to do with this company, because it's a really important company. So we're going to see if they're going to remove the licenses or what kind of disciplinary actions they're gonna take against these individuals. Okay, because this is a disaster which is affecting many people. An apology is not enough, as many people are saying. This is not only affecting Zambia, it's affecting many other countries, as I told you before, and I'll show you here again. Okay, you have Namibia, you have Zimbabwe, you have Mozambique. All these countries benefit from this river. So the company itself, although there is no like a strong enforcement in the country, they shouldn't be taking the mick, and they should be trying to prevent future disasters from happening, such as these ones. Okay, and I'll show you here. Look at the images. Okay, look at the images. What is this? This used to be a nice river. Okay, and this article is from the Independent. That's a UK newspaper. As you can see here, this picture shows you exactly what happened. Okay, this was a dam. I think there was a dam here, and there was a failure. The dam couldn't hold the water when all this acidic waste went into the river. Okay, it pretty much exploded. And then obviously this is Western newspaper, and obviously they're criticizing this Chinese company 100%, which is okay, right? But yeah, I just wanted to show you these here and to counter both arguments. Those that completely blame the Chinese and the Zambian government and they go into corruption and all that stuff, and those that actually see this as a major problem and they blame regulations. Although there is regulations, the enforcement of it is really, really difficult. So yeah, keep an eye on this. I'll continue monitoring what's happening in terms of this, and I'll continue giving you updates regarding this disaster. And as always, I'll continue informing you. Take care.